Life of Saint Anthony, Part 65. And many monks have related with the greatest agreement and unanimity that many other such things were done by him. But still these do not seem as marvelous as certain other things appear to be. For once, when about to eat, having risen up to pray about the 9th hour, he perceived that he was caught up in the spirit, and wonderful to tell, he stood and saw himself, as it were, from outside himself, and that he was led in the air by certain ones. Next, certain bitter and terrible beings stood in the air and wished to hinder him from passing through. But when his conductors opposed them, they demanded whether he was not accountable to them. And when they wished to sum up the account from his birth, Anthony's conductors stopped them, saying, "The Lord hath wiped out the sins from his birth, but from the time he became a monk and devoted himself to God, it is permitted you to make a reckoning." Then, when they accused him and could not convict him, his way was free and unhindered, and immediately he saw himself, as it were, coming and standing by himself, and again he was Anthony as before. Then, forgetful of eating, he remained the rest of the day, and through the whole night groaning and praying, for he was astonished when he saw against what mighty opponents our wrestling is, and by what labors we have to pass through the air. And he remembered that this is what the apostles said, according to the prince of the power of the air. For in it the enemy hath power to fight and to attempt to hinder those who pass through. Wherefore most earnestly he exhorted, take up the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, that the enemy, having no evil thing to say against you, may be ashamed. And we who have learned this, let us be mindful of the apostle when he says, whether in the body I know not, or whether out of the body I know not, God knoweth. But Paul was caught up unto the third heaven, and having heard the things unspeakable, he came down, while Anthony saw that he had come to the air, and contended until he was free. Life of Saint Anthony, Part 66. And he also had this favor granted him, for as he was sitting alone on the mountain, if ever he was in perplexity in his meditations, this was revealed to him by providence and prayer. And the happy man, as it is written, was taught of God. After this, when he once had a discussion with certain men who had come to him concerning the state of the soul, of what nature its place will be after this life, the following night one from above called him, saying, Anthony, rise, go out and look. Having gone out, therefore, for he knew whom he ought to obey, looking up, he beheld one standing and reaching to the clouds, tall, hideous, and fearful, and others ascending as though they were winged. And the figure stretched forth his hands, and some of those who were ascending were stayed by him, while others flew above, and having escaped heavenward, were borne aloft free from care. At such, therefore, the giant gnashed his teeth, but rejoiced over those who fell back, and forthwith a voice came to Anthony, Understandest thou what thou seest? And his understanding was opened, and he understood that it was the passing of souls, and that the tall being who stood was the enemy who envies the faithful. And those whom he caught and stopped from passing through are accountable to him, while those whom he was unable to hold as they passed upwards had not been subservient to him. So having seen this, and as it were, being reminded, he struggled the more daily to advance towards those things which were before. And these visions he was unwilling to tell, but as he spent much time in prayer, and was amazed when those who were with him pressed him with questions and forced him, he was compelled to speak, as a father who cannot withhold aught from his children. And he thought that, as his conscience was clear, the account would be beneficial for them, that they might learn that discipline bore good fruit, and that the visions were oftentimes the solace of their labors.
If you are enjoying this series, please consider making a donation to the St. John of Damascus Orthodox Educational Initiative. We are asking the faithful to support our scholarship fund, which will help ensure that an education based on the Orthodox Christian faith and following the classical model is available to all interested families of our eparchy and other like-minded Orthodox Christians, regardless of their financial circumstances. We are also asking for donations to help us make renovations and improvements to our new physical headquarters, located on the property of the Holy Ascension Parish in Bearsville, New York. Please see the link in the description of this video to learn how you can donate and support the future of our church, that is, the youth of our church. God bless you. Through the prayers of St. John of Damascus.